Greetings and salutations, everybody. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. You are listening to Raven Review. I'm your host, Raven, and today we are going to be talking about the Girl with a Dragon Tattoo Millennium series. So I'm going to cover all three of these books, not the movies, but the books. The books were written by Stag Larson, I believe is how you pronounce his name, but I'm probably screwing that up because I'm horrible Swedish. Plus, it doesn't help that I'm an American and I don't know how to speak other languages. So, the actual original title, though, with help of Miko, is this.
The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, original title in Swedish, Man som hatar kvinnor, in English, Men Who Hate Women.
So, with that said, let's get into the plot. I'm not going to spoil the book too much. I'm not going to give you the end or anything like that. I'm just going to give you a real quick summary of the book and then my thoughts on the actual book itself. And then at the very, very end, if you want to skip to it, I'll put the time code here and you guys can hear what I think about the American and Swedish movie, but I'm not going to talk very long about them.
1, 2, 3, 4.
As far as the book's plot goes, so our two main characters are Mikael Blomfest, who runs the magazine Millennium, and then we have Elizabeth Sander. She's basically a hacker, slicer, whatever you want to call her. That's who she is. So we have the character who hires Mikael, Hunsent Vanger, I think that's his name. He used to own a company called the Vanger Corporation, and now his son runs the company. So he basically hires Blomfest to find what happened to his granddaughter, because he thinks his granddaughter was murdered and the body was never found and this kind of stuff. So Mikael basically goes to the island, is introduced to all the different characters, which I'm not going to go through all the characters because there's a shitload of them. There's just a lot of characters. So, and then eventually he comes across Lisbon's character, which he finds out she was hired by Vanger to find out who he is and how good of a investigator he is and stuff like that. And so eventually the two team up with one another in order to figure out what happened to Vanger's granddaughter. And that plot goes down the rabbit hole and it goes all over the place and stuff like that. Also, there's this other plot that goes on with Elizabeth, because she is on probation, and so I guess he's a lawyer for the most part. He's just creepy. He eventually he rapes Lisbon, and she ain't having any of that. So she eventually has to go back and meet with him and stuff like that. Buys a tattoo gun and all this stuff, and he goes and tries to rape her again, but it's definitely foiled, and the tide is turned, and this time he just basically gets a whole lot of vendetta put down on him by Lisbon. I'm not really gonna get, if you haven't read the book, I'm not gonna get into what she does, but yeah. So there's that part of the book. Um, and an investigation happens because of her and because of this, of what her she does. So we have that. Eventually, her probation officer, some other more unfortunate things happen to him, and Elizabeth is basically blamed for it. But you don't find out exactly the end result to that till around like book three. So we'll come back to that at some point. But eventually, they do find out what happens to Vanger's granddaughter and everything, and who is committing murder and all these other stuff. Lesman and Mikhail become pretty close. There's a couple things where they have sexual relations with each other, but I think it's just more of a friend thing. It's just, that's how I interpreted it. But again, I'll come back to that process. So as far as the book itself, I'm going to rate it as, and just because it's very well written, I highly enjoyed the book. You're definitely, there's no real dull moment in the book, or at least I didn't think there was. It just constantly is, it's going. It has a good flow to it and stuff like that. It's not like overly. It does get like kind of like, wow, what's happening? What's going on? Kind of thing, and you really get into it. But for the most part, it keeps a pretty good steady pace. It's not very roller coastery. It doesn't go up and down where there are some parts that's just like absolutely boring, and then some parts that are just like overly extremely like exciting. It takes you on a nice journey, and I think that's really cool. I like that. So that's where I'm going to stick with the book. As far as the movies go, the Swedish movie, I think, sticks pretty close to the actual film. I really do enjoy the Swedish film. Um, I just, I think that's the best interpretation of this book. So, yeah, if you guys want to check out the Swedish version, definitely do that. As far as the American version, uh, oof. with Daniel Craig. Oh my God, the movie is a complete freaking clusterfuck of a film. I no. I absolutely hate the American version of the girl with the dragon tattoo. I I loathe it with so much passion. I hate that movie. After, because I read the book and then I watched the Swedish film first, and then I watched the American, and I was just like, what the hell are they doing? Um, they just don't have a clue what they're doing in that movie whatsoever. No, nothing to take away from Daniel Craig. He's a great actor. I know he plays James Bond, but and he's been in other things that I've seen, and he's an amazing actor. It's just the way they conduct the entire story is absolutely wretched. It's horrible. I didn't care for it. And then they have this thing with Elizabeth Lisbon, um, basically falling in love with Mikal. And what I what that doesn't really happen in the book. Got that. I never got that. Granted, there is a lot of sexual things that happen between the two of them, But I think it's just more like I'm a guy, you're a girl, and it's kind of like the whole Rammstein thing. So,
You got a pussy. I have a dick.
you know, if you know, yeah. So, I don't know, whatever. So, yeah, I wouldn't recommend the American movie at all. So, there you go. Um, I'm done babbling about it. Definitely go pick up the book. It's well worth it. I highly enjoyed it, and I highly recommend you guys get it. The it's just it's a really good like mystery type book if you like that kind of style. So yeah, we'll talk to you all later. Don't forget to give someone a hug. May change their day, may change their life, and we'll talk to you all later. Bye.
Hello friends, this is Miko. We have reached the end of this Raven review. But before you go, please remember to press the subscribe button and notification bell. That way you know when Raven has posted a new video. Also, please don't forget to like or dislike the video because it really does help out the channel. And last of all, don't forget to be awesome-tacular by sharing this video with your friends, that way they can like it too. Thank you for watching Raven Review. I hope you have an awesome day.